This is the EcoFlow Wave 3, the latest wireless portable air conditioner and heater from our friends at EcoFlow. What is a wireless portable air conditioner? Well, it has to do with this battery here that we can attach and detach from the bottom. So we'll look at the functionality of this, how you set it up for either inside or outside your tent or camper or RV, because it has a lot of flexibility with these bundled shrouds that they give you. We'll talk about how long it can actually run on battery and what sort of temperatures it can operate within in today's video.
So there's one big thing I want to test with the new EcoFlow Wave, other than showing you guys a walkthrough of how this works so you can understand how you might use it. And we're going to look at some of the performance and updates to this third generation portable air conditioner and heater. But the biggest thing is we'll test it in a rooftop tent, because that's the most likely scenario that I'd use it in, and I'm guessing probably the most likely scenario a lot of you guys would use it with. Okay, so real quick, let's do a rundown of what actually comes with a EcoFlow Wave 3, because you can order it in two different variants. So your first option is going to be to order just the base unit itself, which is the air conditioner and heater. And that's going to come with the appropriate power cords, a water drainage tube so you can let out the condensation, and it's going to come with your intake and outlet hoses, which are new and improved this year with the Wave 3. They're actually insulated, so that should help with keeping some of the cold air or hot air in, depending on what you're using this for, because it can actually cool and heat. And then you're also going to get a set of these shrouds. They connect onto the Wave 3, and it makes it more versatile because you can connect them to different spots on it depending on if you want to have the unit inside your rooftop tent or camper or RV, or on the outs. And then you can also order it with the expansion battery. This is going to let the Wave 3 run on its own. And this is updated now with a Life PO4 battery, which will give you up to 8 hours of cooling in eco mode, and you can recharge this battery up to 3,000 times while still maintaining 80% capacity. Now, having the add-on battery is super handy, although it's not essential, which I'll show you later in the video. And if you're thinking about charging this up, if you're invested in the EcoFlow ecosystem and have an alternator charger, you can charge up your Wave 3 in about an hour and a half using the 800 watt fast charging mode. Or you can just plug it into the wall and charge it in about 2 hours at 700 watts. EcoFlow has also added an XT60 connector to the add-on battery now, which gives you some more flexibility with charging off 12-volt car chargers or solar panels. So you have some new options now for charging this if it's not connected up to the Wave 3 itself, or if you want to have a couple add-on batteries and keep one charging while you're using one. Now, before using this for the first time, you will want to familiarize yourself with the different shrouds, how they connect, and which modes you want to use them for. The quick start guide has some great illustrations and drawings to show you just which way to configure these shrouds and your intake and outlet tubes, because you'll need to set this up differently depending on if you want it inside or outside of the space you're trying to heat or cool. Now, one of my most favorite things with actually the entire EcoFlow lineup is just how you interact with the devices. EcoFlow always includes nice, bright, and easy to see LCDs, easy to access buttons, but where they really shine is with their app and connectivity to their devices. It feels like EcoFlow has put a lot of thought and time into designing their interface. And the mobile app just always connects right up and is easy to use, whether you're at home on Wi-Fi or off the grid out in the middle of nowhere. And the app is the primary way that I interact with my EcoFlow devices, from the portable power stations to the Glacier fridges to the Wave 3 and the previous models as well. So let's talk about some of the reasons you might actually want to buy a EcoFlow Wave 3. Let's look at some of the performance specs, how to actually power this thing and how long it will last, what are some of the improvements in the Wave 3 over the Wave 2, and then do a little real-world testing with a rooftop tent out on a nice hot sunny day. Now, right off the bat, the EcoFlow Wave 3 packs a huge punch when it comes to portable cooling, with a step up over the previous Wave 2 model, and it now has 6,100 BTUs of cooling power. Now, as I mentioned, this also has a heating function, delivering up to 6,800 BTUs of heating. Now, the Wave 3 uses a heat pump system, so there are some limitations when it comes to using this for heating. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to have any super cold days when I was filming this video, so I couldn't test the heating function in extreme temperatures. EcoFlow rates this to be used to about 5 degrees Celsius and still maintain heat, which is about 42 degrees Fahrenheit. Although in some online testing videos, I saw that this will still put out heat at slightly colder temperatures, but when you start to get below zero, there's just no heat to extract from the air to use for the heating function. However, in hotter temperatures, I find this is where this unit really shines. The 6100 BTUs of cooling really can pack a punch on a hot day, but as well, if it's muggy and humid, it will extract a lot of the moisture from the air in your camper or your tent. And having the extra 1000 BTUs of cooling over the Wave 2 will definitely make a difference on those hot summer days. Now let's talk a little bit about performance and battery capacity. Now, as I mentioned at the start of the video, you can get about 8 hours of runtime, but that's going to be if you set this to eco mode. If you've got the air conditioning blasting on full tilt, your real world usage is probably going to be somewhere in the 2 to 3 hours range with the add-on battery. However, you don't have to run the Wave 3 off just the add-on battery. EcoFlow makes portable power stations that have larger capacity and expansion batteries. So if you had a 2000 watt hour Delta 2 with a 2000 watt hour expansion battery, that's going to give you about 4 times more runtime than just the add-on battery that you can order with the Wave 3. Now you will have to connect your Delta 2 or Delta 3 portable power stations with EcoFlow's proprietary cable, so you can start to see where investing into their ecosystem of portable power stations, chargers, and other devices starts to make a whole lot more sense. Now let's see how the Wave 3 does in some real world use cases. Now at the start of the video, I mentioned that my most likely use case for this is to use it in a rooftop tent. So that is just what we're going to test today. However, if you're like me, there's another consideration for using a portable air conditioner like this. So in addition to it being great for taking camping because of how portable it is, I also find it extremely useful to put into one of our spare bedrooms or my office in my house when we experience a brief heat wave here in British Columbia. So I'm looking forward to taking advantage of some of the improvements of the Wave 3 over the Wave 2, which is what I've been using to cool off my 200 square foot office in my house. And the Wave 2 has been doing a great job at that. And I think the Wave 3 will be even better because it has even more cooling power and as well more airflow than the Wave 2, with a bump from 170 CFM to now 195 CFM with the Wave 3. Now the exterior of my rooftop tent was absolutely cooking in the mid 130 degree Fahrenheit range, which is about 50 degrees Celsius. And those of you that camp with rooftop tents in the sun know they become absolute saunas. So I want to see just how good a job the Wave 3 could do at cooling this down in some really hot conditions. Now, I didn't get a chance to test just how well this does with extracting humidity from the air, as it doesn't get very humid where I live, but this does extract humidity from the air, and you can either set up the drain hose for it to drain automatically, or there is a water drainage notification when the tank is nearing full, and the app will let you know so you can drain it out and ensure that you have optimal performance. The way I set this up for testing was to have the air conditioner on the outside of my tent, but if you have a canopy camper or a trailer, then you might be able to have this inside. The advantage to it being inside is that it's going to be able to use its thermostats to regulate the temperature inside the space that you're in and turn it on and off, and I think this will be more efficient. When you have it outside your tent, you just set the temperature on the Wave 3 and let it run. Since it has no way to tell what temperature it is inside your tent, it's not going to be able to turn on and off as needed. It's just going to run full time. But with the easy to use app and how quick it connects, it makes adjusting and turning it on and off as you feel needed pretty straightforward and simple. Now the inside of my rooftop tent was hovering in the mid 90 degree Fahrenheit range, and setting the EcoFlow Wave 3 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, which is its lowest temperature, was able to bring this down into the mid 70s. Keep in mind the sun is still beating down on the side of the tent. So if you're using this in the evening or at night once the sun has stopped hitting your tent, or maybe parked in the shade, it's going to do a lot better job at bringing that temperature down for you in your tent. And keeping in mind that the investment that you made for going camping can also be used around the house during heat waves, or when you have guests over in your spare bedroom and you don't have an air conditioner to put in there. And if you're wondering just how loud the Wave 3 is, here's a little clip of it running at full tilt. If you want to pick up an EcoFlow Wave 3 for yourself, you can scan the QR code on the screen right now or check out the link down in the description or pinned comment. Sometimes I have coupon codes for EcoFlow products, which I will update down in the description below if I do. And it sure is nice to see companies like EcoFlow continuing to develop and improve their product lineup. Let me know what you think of the EcoFlow Wave 3 or any of your experiences with portable air conditioners or previous EcoFlow models down in the comments below. And if you have any questions, I will do my best to answer them. And if I can ask one last favor from you guys, we're almost at 100,000 subscribers. I need your help to get there. And so if you enjoyed this video, you like other product reviews, camping videos, and vlogs, I publish new videos every week, and I'd love to have you subscribe to the channel and see you guys commenting more down below. With that said, thanks so much for watching, guys. My name's Casey, and I will catch you in the next video.